action.
Welcome to misBEERhavior.
misBEERhavior.
misBEERhavior. misBEERhavior.
I sound like Ronald. I am Ronald. No, I'm Blake The Brewery Explorer. Ronald's my buddy, Missy. And
Hello.
Ariana. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good.
Grand. Just grand.
Blake is the hostess with the mostest this week.
That's right.
We were talking about having him back on, and we have made him full host rather than just a guest because we like putting people on the spot and making them nervous.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job of it. Thank you. No, this is going to be fun. I've been itching to get back on, and you guys do a lot to support me, so I want to try to support you guys too. So,
Right on. I like it.
So,
are we thirsty yet?
Yes.
We're always thirsty.
Absolutely.
And we're doing this on Friday, so we can drink a little more today.
Right.
Except for Blake, because he has to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ha
that poor
And-
bastard.
ha.
What's
And
your-
this is going to be a St. Louis thing because I went to a wedding, and the Airbnb I was at was 2 blocks from a brewery. So, AKA, I got a lot of beer. So,
Sweet.
You went to breweries and got beer? You're
Yeah.
a horrible
No.
person.
I
How
know.
could you?
Way.
I mean, some can get bourbon now, depending where you go. So,
Alrighty.
So what's your first one, sir?
this is Urban Chestnut. I'm going to probably butcher this name unless you want to try to pronounce it.
Schniggelfritz?
Yes, they're Urban Chestnut. They're out of St. Louis.
That's
I think they've
Schniggelfritz.
been around since like 2012. The brewer is actually from Germany itself.
Sweet.
So it's going to be a lot of German themed beer.
I like Germany.
What's the style of this particular beer?
Marvin's
Bavarian.
Weiser beer.
Weiser beer. So it's a wheat beer. Wheat ale.
Yes.
There we go.
Not quite a Hefeweizen, but it is some sort of wheat ale.
The interesting part the general manager was telling me about the breweries because they actually just built one in Germany itself.
Like, as in the Americans went back and built something in Germany?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So what's the difference between a Weiss and a Hefeweizen?
Something to do with the yeast, I think.
Yeah, I would say that. I don't know.
One's brewed in the Hefe version in the Hefe region of Germany, and if they're not brewed in the Hefe version in Germany, they can't be called Hefeweizen. I don't know. Just
I'm not done pouring. No, I'll put more in that.
Alrighty.
Just gonna try to steal your shoe.
I see that.
Puppies. Puppies, man.
So in terms of color, we have a very nice, golden.
You
I
need
don't
some
know,
more?
little hazy,
I like
but
the
very
smell.
golden beer
Get that
color.
right.
It smells very yeasty.
You got a nice good bit of head on it.
We know you like the head, so.
There you go,
Oh
Ron.
yeah.
He does.
Get
And
you
what
a
was
little
that thing
bit
about
more.
Missy earlier? Missy and you?
Oh no. He asked if I was going to give him a blowjob, and I'm not going to give him a blowjob. I shook my head no.
So she was asking when I'd let my daughter move back in, and I asked her about the same as the odds of getting a blowjob from her.
Just a little more.
So
There we go.
that's how that worked out.
And she said it's not never or something like that.
No.
Yeah, she said it was. She didn't say it was never. So there's a chance she could give me a blowjob.
I said I wouldn't say never about him moving his daughter back in.
But that also means she wouldn't say never about giving me a blowjob. So there's a chance.
No, he's
It's definitely a wheat beer, too.
It is. It's actually really good.
It is very good. It has like a little
Very
bit
clean.
of fruitiness to it.
That's what I thought. It was like has a fruitiness to it. It's smooth, and it's a nice light beer. I really
So
like that.
tell the kids what the can looks like. And don't forget to do the porn shot in front of the pour can.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. So it's yellow, blue, and orange. I'm supposed to read this too, right?
Sure, if you want.
The unmistakable characteristic of a bourbon style whisk beer,
Bavarian style.
bourbon, sorry,
Nerves are cool.
are achieved with the yeast that creates a decidable, fruity, and phenomenal beer. They also note a clove, banana-like aromas and flavors as you pour and enjoy this beer. A traditional tall wheat beer glass. Prost.
That's.
We got a ABV on there.
5%.
Okay.
I was kind of thinking that the clove and banana, because that's like the Hefeweizen, and that's it's that one we had. It was the Wolf's Ridge. I did not like that one.
Is that repellent tastes like hot
Hot
dog
dog water, yes.
So to further go into the can's main colors are, yellow orange, but it's kind of got like a little bit of like, say, a wheat motif and some of the orange there, and like a family shield thing going on. I like it.
Because that symbol is their actually St. Louis flag.
Ah, so it's the St. Louis flag. That's
Yes.
okay. Hence the St. Louis theme.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which St. Louis is actually where I got into craft beer. Because before I was 21, my uncle and dad took me to Shafley, which is their original craft brewery outside of the Monster Evil in Anheuser-Busch.
Ah, okay.
But
I haven't been to St. Louis probably since I was a kid. Went there a few times with my folks. There used to be, my dad does a lot of stuff with antique tractors, and there's some tractor shows there. And I remember as a kid, we went up in the St. Louis Arch, and my parents were like, "This is the greatest thing ever." And you rode up in like these little like weird pill-shaped cars.
Yeah. It was like cramped and you're riding with strangers and shit in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That would be dumb.
I remember going to the top and like it was blowing in the wind, and the whole thing was just blowing back and forth, and it felt weird.
and if you go up in the arch, you better like cramp spaces because the tram is not a big thing at all. It might be the size of your bathroom door, just a little bit shorter to get in.
I've been in.
It's worth, if you've never been, it's worth the trip at least once
Yeah,
in your life.
I like St. Louis. It's pretty good. I actually almost wore my St. Louis shirt today.
That's
It's
so
weird.
funny.
I was like this close to grabbing it, and then.
Wait, well, pause. Go get it.
That would have been awesome.
Take your go get it, and then change on camera. Our ratings go way up for the YouTube channel.
I doubt it.
They have to be able to be found before that can happen. So,
You get picked on a lot, don't you?
That's why I'm here, is to be picked
Yeah,
on.
that's the only reason.
that's right.
It's actually like my fetish is to be picked on. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, be mean.
I think it is.
Be meaner.
He's developed that as a
It's a defense mechanism.
Right. It's kind of like, I'm no longer bothered by being abused. I actually get off on it.
Yeah, he's like, give me a boner.
Man, I
got
such a hard on right now.
That is actually really, really good. Probably,
Probably not because I'm saying about you.
I would.
It's definitely because you're sitting next to me.
Oh, yeah.
I think, well, it's like one of the better ones I've tasted of that particular kind of beer. I've never really had just like the Bavarian style Weiss beer, but I've had like the Hefeweizen. And I think I like this one just a little bit better, even like with still like the banana and the clove taste. I think that's what kind of makes it. It's really sweet.
I feel
Well,
like,
not really sweet, but just has like a touch of a sweetness to it. Like,
what I'm actually liking is I'm liking the bubbles on it. I hate to say that, but the carbonation on that and the way it was hitting my tongue, I really like the carbonation was doing me good on this one. A little higher carbonation maybe, but not a lot of head on top. Almost like a pop level of carbonation.
Right.
My taste.
I thought it was pretty
And it's also been in my fridge since the first week of June, so I don't know. Things could change then, but
Nah, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, I think it's still.
That is definitely one that
it's definitely a summer beer.
definitely a summer beer. Also one that I feel I could go back and drink. Several of them in a session.
Oh yeah,
It's not one of those that you're like, well, that was good. Well, what's the next flavor? No, this is
it's an all-day beer.
yes.
Which I think you're seeing a lot of breweries starting to push that
Right.
narrative. Like, I think a lot of them got scared doing light lagers, but now you're starting to see that push back
Yeah.
into it.
Well, I think they just all wanted to compete and be like, oh, we gotta have like the best flavor, this, that, and the other, and everybody's now like, oh, well, we want our not so craft beer friends to come, or like it's a good way to get into craft beer by drinking something like that. And
Well, like I said, I've said recently, it's like that whole Bud Light thing. Everybody decided, we'll call it like a back to basics kind of a thing. Yeah, we discovered we can make a really excellent toasted marshmallow graham cracker fucked your mom.
right,
But can we really do a really good Weiss ale?
right.
We could do the fucking crazy over the top stuff, but back to basics and basic, we'll call it beer school. Can we do a
Right.
good back?
Because anybody can add a lot of flavor to something and it'd be like really good, but then if they don't do the general like, hey, this is what this is, if they don't do that very good, it's kind of like, oh, they're really not that great. They just buy good ingredients.
Yeah. On that note today, I came across a clickbait story that absolutely made me laugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently thanks to the gay Bud Light pushback, there's a few like Costco, Sam's Club type warehouses that have so much Bud Light sitting on shelves. They're actually selling certain like the pretty fancy water. They're selling cases of water for more than they're selling Bud Light in some places.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
Like 24 pack of Bud Light for like $8.99, and then like we'll call it like the Fiji water type shit for more than that. So Bud Light's literally worth less than water in some places now.
That's awesome.
I mean,
That's ridiculous.
a little bit.
I can't, like, I don't know. It still blows my mind that it blew up that much.
Right.
Or something so stupid.
You're like, oh, I like my beer. It's not going to be like this forever. I'll just drink the beer anyway, and then when they go back to having somebody hunting on the front of the can, it'll be all right.
Even though they're not a hero either.
Right, yeah.
Well, like their plan was to go back. They did like camo cans and special Harley edition cans.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Like because it got brought up a little bit in our Work Wing episode, and the guy said that Bush's biggest thing they should have done was just stick with the plan, not backtrack.
They would
That's
just
what
Right.
you just kept going with it. And
if they had kept going with it, and be like, okay, well, fuck you. We don't care that you're upset that we got a gay person. You need to be accepting of this shit. Shut
Right.
the fuck up, rather than, oh my god, oh no, we have offended people.
They'll eventually have to. One group has to give.
Yeah.
I love not offending people.
Yeah,
Right. But when they went back, that's where they really messed up.
that's where they fucked up, because, yeah. But, I don't know. Welcome to America.
Of course, they pinned it on the poor intern.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So, that aside, what else have we done this week, kids?
I have a really weird story about me losing my phone.
I thought we were going to say for a second
I got
your
a
virginity.
story.
I'm like, how did you have another story about losing your
Really
virginity?
weird story. No, so I went kayaking on the 4th, and I drug my kayak down to Twin Creek, and so I went in there. Some other people went in there as I was going in there, and I was like, oh, I'll just have my phone on me like I always do. Well, there was like some spots where it was rather low, so I could get out and push. The first spot I got out, I like immediately I looked at my watch and I saw that my watch wasn't connected to my phone. I was like, damn it. So I pulled my kayak aside, looked for it, and was looking at my watch, and I'm like, oh, I can't find it. I was like, fuck it. I just thought it was gone. I was like, I'll go down, and maybe I'll pass through. Maybe it got picked up in the current, and maybe I'll find my watch connected to it at some point. I went down an hour, never found it. I was like, fuck it. So on my way back through, I was doing the same thing. Still couldn't find it. I was like, well, I guess it's gone. I got my old phone. So I was trying to set up my old phone all night. And I was so pissed. I forgot that it needed another SIM card in it. Because basically it was trying to do a 2-factor authentication. And it was trying to text my old phone, or the lost phone, a code. I'm like, I don't have that fucking phone. So I had to go through all these steps to get that phone set up. And then I was finally able to start Ubering for the day. And I had some young man got in my car, and he was like, hey, how was your 4th, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, it was pretty good, even though I lost my phone. And we started talking about that. And he was like, oh, yeah, he goes, my grandpa finds them all the time. And, somebody, because they live, by the beach or something. He's like, you'd be surprised how, they're still working. And they got lost, a long time before. They can tell they've been at the beach for a long time. He's like, they're still working. They're still able to be turned on. He's like, maybe you'll find it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I don't know. And then I dropped him off at this car dealership and went and picked this. Well, Larry was trying to call me when that kid was in my car, and I sent it straight to voicemail. And so on my way to pick up the next person, I called Larry, and he was like, hey, someone found your phone. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he's like, my dad's on the way to go get it. Apparently, they left it. They just told Larry that they left it on the bench at the park, because I feel like they got into the emergency contact, which they can do through the lock screen, the phone's still locked, but they can see that. And they saw his number, called him, and told him that they left it there with a note on it at the bench. And so Larry's dad went and got it. And then so I picked up the next guy and then dropped him off. And the place I dropped him off at was the Bonefish Grill. I ended up picking up that same kid. And I was like, hey, man, somebody found my phone. He's like, yeah, I told you, man. He's like, I brought you good luck. And it was just really weird because just the way the conversation went. And I lost my phone, got it. And so I got my phone back. And it actually still works. It was submerged for 24 hours. I looked at the rating for this, and it's supposed to have a 30-minute, like if it's underwater for 30 minutes, that's like what it's rated at. And it's like 6 feet or 6 meters. I think it might be 6 meters, which it wasn't 6 meters underwater, but I'm like, it's submerged for 24 hours. He found it when he was fishing, and it was actually my kid's friend that found it. And so it was like, that was really weird. And so I got it back, and it was like the speaker was kind of sucking, but I knew from having my watch, there's like a certain feature on the watches that like it makes this really loud like screeching noise that pushes the water out of the speaker because like you can submerge the watch. And so I downloaded one of those from my phone, and I just ran it until it like didn't sound like shit anymore, and it still works. But I'm like kind of testing it on Wi-Fi to see if it craps out on me, and so far it's just like it normally was. So
That's a hell of a phone.
hell yeah, I was pretty impressed.
That is pretty impressive.
And I was like, damn, like, because I thought I wasn't going to get it back. I didn't have insurance on it. I don't know why I didn't get insurance on it. And when I was, like, going through support, I was like, all right, I'm going to get some fucking insurance on the phone because I know how they operate. You get it on the phone, and then you just wait a couple weeks, and then you claim it, and then they just go through it. But I was going to have to pay, like, the $200, like, deductible fee or whatever, you know. And I was like, now I don't have to, and I just got my phone back.
Fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
It was pretty awesome. I was impressed with it. But, yeah.
I made beer.
Yes, you do have
I
a
tried
beer.
it.
He got the first, we'll call it out of the box sample.
Oh,
How
yeah?
was it?
It was good.
Yeasty.
Yeasty.
Very yeasty. So I got myself a new brew kit since I have alleviated myself a lot of my stress and trust about teenagers coming into my house and drinking things they shouldn't. I ordered a new brew kit. It's like a 9 1/4 gallon kit by Vibor. I fucking love the shit out of the thing. It's a boil kettle, a mash kettle, all in one. It came with a brand new worm for cooling and a whole bunch of and a hops basket. But basically, the best part about it versus my old method, where I would take a big stock pot of water on the stove, I'd heat it up to temperature, and I'd have to keep sticking that with a thermometer to get it to where I wanted it to be, and then hope to hell that I had it close. This guy, he's got a digital timer, digital everything. So I set the mash temp to 152.3 and put the water in and said, okay, have at it, and then walked away. While I was doing it, I had to go run to Ace to get some more like O-rings for the fermentation vessel I was using, and I was like, well, shit, that thing's all digital. It will hold that temperature. It's not going to boil or do anything crazy. So I left it do that, and yeah, there was absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Don't have to babysit it. That's nice.
That is 100% nice. It has timers for everything, and it's got a sparge pump. That fucking sparge pump, which that is, for those that don't know, when you're brewing and you're mashing, sparge water is where you recirculate the water that's in the mash over the grain. So you can suck more of the sugars out of the grain and get a little bit better flow and more even. That fucking sparge pump is the best goddamn thing I have ever seen for brewing. Because literally you just turn that on and it just keeps flowing it over, and yeah, made a really consistent brew.
Nice.
When it was done, the mash time was done, that part kind of sucked, but I lifted the grain, there was a handle you added on, lifted the grains out of the mash, so the wort was all there. It was heavy as fuck because it was full of water, but there was like different, we'll call it like clips to set it on and the things that drained out. That was beautiful. And then when it was time to boil, I just hit the boil button. And it went up to the boil temperature. It beeped at me when it was ready. And it's even programmable for all my crap. I'm like, this is amazing.
Nice. Like a bread maker, but only a beer maker.
And I never had to take the only time I had to actually transfer the wort out of the can, out of the boiler, was when I was going into the fermenter.
Nice.
Where before it was like half a dozen different steps of taking it out, moving it from this to this to this. So a lot less chance of losing sanitization.
Cool.
And per the request, I have started a smoked mango habanero porter. If I figure right, it should be about 5.25% or so.
Nice.
Done. The only problem I had with it is when I pulled it out of the brew kettle and put it into the fermenter, it was a little warm in my house that day, and I didn't turn the AC on, so it stayed too hot. And I fried all my yeast.
Oh.
So, because everything was in there all nice and sealed up much better than the stuff I was using before because I'm now using a 10-gallon stainless steel fermenter vessel. It's all sealed up. I just pulled the top off, tossed more yeast in there. Did that last night, and when he was over there, we tried a little bit of it. The gravity is way down. It's going to turn out fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hells yeah.
So anyway, what do we rate this and how do we describe this?
Yeasty.
Could you describe this one yeasty? I describe it weedy,
Weedy, bubbly.
fruity, light.
I'd probably give it a 4.
How would you
I
describe
was
it?
thinking a 4.
Bubbly.
How would you describe it?
Same. Weedy, you got some of the banana flavor in it, but it was light. You could crush it.
Definitely crushable.
Banana.
Let's see.
Crushable.
I was thinking you could eat it with a warm pretzel too.
I was.
Definitely.
It
Where the
was
yeasty comes out.
right.
Mhm.
I was thinking that myself. Like it reminds me of the rolled gold sweet wheat pretzels. Is what I was thinking of, because it's just got that little bit of sweet, but it's still like not a dessert flavor, which is really nice.
I'd give this guy a good 3.5. Definitely drink it again. It's not gonna, set the world on fire, but it is a damn good beer.
I think it's I was thinking a good 4. I would totally give it 4.
Blake says 4. Missy says 4. Ron says 3.5.
What does Ariana say?
3.75.
I feel like the 7.5 is the indecisive number.
Yeah.
Yeah, fart on you too.
It's not an indecisive number. It's better than 3.5. Of course.
That's right.
Well, fine then.
Right.
I'm gonna do a 3.69.
That's funny.
I'll write that down. Oh yeah.
misBEERhavior!
Like, subscribe, share.